So everyone and their mom excited yesterday. PJ Hall trade, it's going down. Former second round pick Sam Houston State, go Bearcats coming onto the roster / rooster. But then you remember, oh yeah, what about the other guys on the team? What about the other defensive tackles? Now, do have to replace Michael Pierce, even though with the addition of Hall, not a perfect 1-for-1 replacement for Michael Pierce. It still is going to take a village to fill up that one tech spot. So. Here's our list. Top 5 Vikings impacted by the PJ Hall trade. Now, you're going to notice we don't mention JALYN Johnson, where I actually feel like his role is going to be relatively safe and unaffected because JALYN, they seem to be trending him towards being a true nose tackle as opposed to the 3-tech that he was coming in. And I think he is the truest nose tackle on the roster. Well, on a roster of no true nose tackles. He played the most snaps as a 0 or 1 tech last season with the Vikings at 136. So I think that his role is going to be relatively unchanged. Did play 500 plus snaps for the Vikings last year. Was it 405, somewhere in there. Played about 40% of the Viking snaps on defense last year. I can see that number going up with Michael Pierce going on COVID reserve list. So that's why he's not on the list. Let's talk about the top 5. So number 1, ARMON Watts. Our man, 2019 6th-round pick out of Arkansas. Never really got the time of day last year, but I think that he was going to be the guy that was going to be in the defense tackle mix this year. Certainly could be. I mean, with Hall coming in, even though Hall does have familiarity with the scheme, as well as having the pedigree of being a second-round pick, I mean, nothing's guaranteed. Now, I do think that you could see a spot where Hall plays starter level reps early on in the season, but I mean, if he's not producing, he's not going to be on the field because Andrea Patterson doesn't play the way that they do on the offensive line. Boom. So ARMON Watts, I think he could still be in the 3-tech mix. Could be part of the nose tackle mix as well. Played a little bit of 1-tech at Arkansas. But I do think with PJ Hall, there is the most talent overlap between Watts and Hall. Just a penetrating 3-tech who does moonlight a bit and nose tackle. So I think ARMON Watts is going to be challenged right away. Next up, top 5 Vikings impacted by the acquisition of PJ Hall. Number 2, James Lynch. Yeah, our favorite 4th-round pick out of Baylor, utility defensive lineman, played a lot of edge rusher at Baylor, was projected to kick inside because doesn't have the length, doesn't have the quickness to succeed on the edge, as some NFL draft pundits said. Baloney. But the fact that Hall could become the every down 3-tech or at least absorb quite a few of those snaps, it could impede Lynch's shift to the inside. So the Vikings, if they don't bring back Everson Griffin, I mean, they may just keep James Lynch as a full-time edge rusher because then you'd have Daniil and Afadi as your starters. Then you got DJ Wanham, James Lynch, Anthony Zettel, Kenny Willekes there at edge. So it could close the door on getting Lynch on the field early on as an inside pass rusher, but we'll see. Next up, number 3 affected by the PJ Hall acquisition, JALYN Holmes. So JALYN Holmes, the Hall trade was really bad news for the former Ohio State Buckeye. He came in as a 2018 4th-round pick. Now, he played primarily edge at Ohio State, and it was TBD what was going to happen with Holmes. First season, they tried him on the edge. Second season, they tried him at 3-tech. Looked great in preseason 2019, but just never really got the time of day. And I wouldn't be shocked now just because it's a numbers game. Like the Vikings probably not going to carry 10 defensive linemen like they did last year. Probably carry 9, maybe even 8. So I could see a spot where JALYN Holmes just gets pushed out, doesn't make the 53, could be a practice squad candidate, and that'd be no bueno. Next up, number 4 Viking impacted by the PJ Hall trade, HERCULES Mataafa. Now, I say this with a qualifier in that I think that Hall's impact on HERCULES is actually going to be relatively negligible because I think Herc was going to be a sub-package player anyway. I mean, yes, he did gain weight. He is up to 289. As of a couple months ago. But I think Hercules' impact is going to be in that NASCAR package, in that Afadi or Stephen Weatherly kicking inside on passing downs or on third downs type situation if he was going to be on the field. So I think that the crossover between him and Hall is going to be pretty negligible, pretty limited at best. But what it comes down to, fewer practice reps could lead to fewer snaps in the regular season, fewer opportunities to shine, etc. Lastly, number 5 player impacted by the PJ Hall acquisition, Shamar Stephen. Now, you probably should have put Stephen above Hercules or even higher, but, Lazy. I already put him at 5. But Shamar Stephen, now he wasn't going to be the true replacement for Michael Pierce. He actually only played 24 of his 663 defensive snaps at nose tackle last year. So he played a lot of 3-tech, a little bit of 5-tech, a little bit of even defensive tackle as well. And it wasn't likely that he was going to take that nose tackle spot. I think JALYN steps up in there, but also just another body in the defensive tackle mix. Andre Patterson, of course, has a lot of comfort with Shamar Stephen, but I mean, PJ Hall, they didn't trade for him to sit. So if he looks good in training camp, if he looks good in inter-squad scrimmages, you could easily see PJ Hall getting his way onto the field early and often for the Vikings, and that could come at the expense of Shamar Stephen, especially as well as Stephen's impact could be lessened by the rise of ARMON Watts or Hercules, or maybe JALYN Holmes even gets it together. But the Vikings, who are pitching pennies at this point, do have $14.2 million in cap space roughly at this stage. I mean, they could save $2.6 million by moving on from Shamar Stephen, who's in the second year of his 3-year contract that he signed, coming over as after he had a gap year with the Seahawks last season. So could be something, could be nothing. Never know. But either way, I think PJ Hall's acquisition, really smart, really low cost, could pay off big, have some nice dividends for the Vikings. But I mean, the Vikings do have a very talented defensive tackle room, but it's very crowded, and some guys will not make this team. Some guys will be on the practice squad. Some guys will not get the snaps that they probably should, and could impact their careers going forward. So we'll see. All right, your thoughts. Top 5 Vikings impacted by the PJ Hall trade. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, pull some of the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.